Yo, what's up? So I'm in my terrace and it's gonna rain in some time. As you can see, the clouds are very black. So, anyways, I wanted to talk about how I really think that simple letters and words make up so much stuff. For example, let's take a piece of code, right? Code is nothing but something that we write out. Those are like combinations of letters and numbers and symbols and a certain combination. And when written in a certain combination in a certain environment, produces something amazing. And coding is just like data manipulation. You're manipulating bits and information and getting what you want out of it. But leave coding out of the way. If we talk about like you know talking to someone personally, then it is more like I say the right words to that person, and that person can literally react the way I want him to. Or maybe I say the wrong combination of words that could offend a certain person, and that person may not like me or may have a different perception of me that might not do favors for me. So I've realized like how fickle that entire matter of telling things is actually. And not telling things but in particular, I'm kind of like, my mind is a flubber, but like more like how simple stuffs like words and letters, when spoken in a different combination or in a different setting, can change a lot of stuff that can happen to you in your life. Literally, if a guy hadn't convinced someone else for marriage like fucking 3 generations ago, I wouldn't have been born. And that convincing probably took like a couple words, probably took like, oh, will you marry me? And then they eventually got married and they had a baby who had a baby who also had a baby, and they had me, which is pretty crazy about it. If that convincing didn't go well and they didn't end up marrying, there would have been completely a different timeline. And it's just that all these entities, all this entropy, like acts together. There's like billions of families every day trying to survive the world, and like millions and hundreds of thousands of babies being born, and they're all interacting with each other in words, in mannerisms, and in like body language. And each of them have their own agenda, each of them have their own like idea of what they want to do in life, or some really don't. And it's starting to rain, by the way. Some don't have an idea. And it's like what I wanted to say is, people are all interacting with each other, not knowing that our small actions actually impact a lot of the future generation. And something that we do now, something some small reason that we meet a person now can have impact, large impact, maybe like centuries from now, and we would never know it. And maybe most of what we live and experience will never be thought of again, and we won't be remembered, and we'll probably like die in a fucking cave, and after like fucking 100 years no one will even remember us. But I would like to think the opposite, and that we actually matter. And it started to rain now, so I think I will go. I don't want my phone and camera to get wet. Okay, so recently I came across this thing where they dug up, stones, and they found this proof of human writing, during caveman times. And it was just a rock of slab that one guy had carved into. And it was basically, he was complaining about the poor quality of copper that he had received from his trader or something. And he was so frustrated that he just took a rock and started carving his frustrations out as words, or whatever the kind of symbols those kind of human beings used at that time. And it got me wondering about how, like, I want to reiterate on that point, that how small interactions have like massive consequences. Like, for example, that guy, if that copper wasn't as good or as bad as he has claimed, we would have never known that the copper was bad, and we would have never had a proof of ancient humans being able to write. I mean, I'm probably like being too extreme here. There are probably other instances that they could have found out and stuff, but it's just so interesting that when we think about history, or how people lived in the history, or how ancient human beings, or like people in the 80s or 1700s lived. And it's just basically exactly how human beings are. It's just interactions and interactions between kings and queens, and interactions between humans. And most of the stories of the lower class don't really move up the generations. And it's really hard for a story of a daily life of a peasant, or a worker to be told multiple generations. I think stories of big kings and warriors are like told because they have power and they have money and they want to be remembered, so it just propagates. But more so that it all comes back to this, that it's just interactions, it's just human interactions, it's just the right kind of words being spoken between two entities. And the entities act on the words spoken by the others, or the actions done by the others, uh, which are again influenced by thoughts. And we don't really know what thoughts are. And we literally started teaching computers how to think. We literally made fucking sand into something that we can manipulate into electronics and into smartphones. It's fucking crazy. It's literally crazy. I truly believe like humanity has come a long way from what we used to be. And I don't know like if I'm like the right person to say. I'm just a fucking human being. Like, you know sometimes you got to be proud that you are a human being and you are not like a Neanderthal. Neanderthals were more superior, far more superior and stronger than humans. But it was they still lost the evolution race. They still got extinct. Well, maybe some part of Neanderthals are still mixed with Homo sapiens, like in like very small amount of DNA. But like in a whole, they lost the race, and it's humans who came back up, all because of this, all because of interactions and the way they coordinated, the way they spoke. And it's all fucking words, bro. It's all fucking words. And this monkey theorem, infinite monkey theorem. If a monkey keeps typing on his typewriter, just random gibberish, and there are infinite monkeys in infinite universes, there has to be one monkey which types the entire William Shakespeare's book. And that's really fascinating because that's just literally it. And we are one of those universes where everything came right, everything worked properly in our favor to exist right now in this moment. And I really think that is what it is in the end of the day. So yeah, that's what I want to talk, bro. That's what I want to talk about. And yeah, that's it. Bye bye.